Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Live About Events. If you are joining me for the first time, thank you and welcome. Please subscribe so you continue to get content about useful tips, tactics, and strategies around planning events. And if you are returning, well, welcome back. I'm so glad to have you. And I want to get started with this week's topic. But before that, I want to definitely introduce myself. I'm Tiffany English. Um, my business is all about events, and I'm the founder of Velvet Style Event Marketing, utilizing events as a marketing strategy to build and grow your brand or business. Now, this channel is Live About Events, where I go on for about 10 minutes to talk about one topic that pertains to planning in-person events. And this week's topic is a good one because it's something that comes up pretty often. And it's about how do I get people to attend my events? How do I increase attendance? Because, events do take a lot of time and planning and money. And the last thing you want to happen is no one show up. Okay. And based on my experience, there are things that you can do to help ensure that you get a better attendance. And I wanted to share a few of my thoughts, especially on the side of the planner side. As someone who gets event invites often, I want to share why I prioritize one event over the other. So let's get started. First, I want to start by describing two event invites in my personal experience. Now, one event invite happened where I was personally invited live at another event, and someone invited me to their event and described what it was, who it was for, and who would be in the room. They shared the details, told me where the venue was. The venue to me was, it was a new venue that I hadn't been there before, so I was curious. It wasn't one of those showstoppers that, I was excited to or I need to go, but it did spark my curiosity. So the venue did pass. And more importantly, this person described who all would be there, and it did align with who I wanted to talk to more and network more. So I definitely made a priority to attend that event. Now, another event I was invited to several days later came through email. I did know the company. It was an email blast. It was specific to planners. It wasn't a venue that I wasn't excited to go to. It was an area to me that seemed like it would be out of my way. It wasn't on my list of venues. It's something that I may, if I was in the area, come across. I wasn't sure who would all be there. I guess there would be planners. It was more of an open house invitation for a venue. And it didn't leave me with something that I would move my schedule around. So I say that to say is when you decide on selecting your venue, put attention into it, and especially on who you plan to invite. So with that being said, I want to just share a couple of tips that make it better for attendee increase, just especially if you are doing this event for the first time, or you're reaching a group that doesn't know you, or you just want better attendance. So I will say this: making the details clear, stating who the event is for, and so the attendee knows who's going to be in the room, making a clear indication of your audience. Also, I will say this: in-person events have come a long way, but post-pandemic, people are prioritizing where and when they spend their time. Okay. So those days are gone where people just blindly accept event invites or just go. I've seen a lot of people really scale back, their time on attending events and really prioritizing the events that meet their needs. So making sure that you give value to why people should come to your event. And it has to be more than just food and drink, you know, that's going to be key. Also, choosing the right venue. Okay, there's a venue for every event, but thinking about your audience. Is this a new audience? Is this an audience that doesn't know about you? Then you're going to want to maybe look into a venue that's more of a showstopper, a venue that they're not likely to go on their own, a venue that they've been excited to get into, a new, fun, shiny venue. So put attention and care into your venue selection, especially when it comes to a new audience. Now, if it's an existing audience or a group of people that know each other, you can put less emphasis on the venue because people are obviously coming to that event to catch up and collaborate. So it might be easier to get that attendee show rate without having such a showstopper venue. So you want to evaluate who this event is for. Now, with the example that I shared, that first event invite, it was personalized. So making sure that you're personalizing your event. And I get it, everybody has a list that they can send to, but going above and doing a personal invite, it's harder to say no to someone that directly, calls you up or they email you or they show care that they want you there at their event. So show that personalization, that you want them to feel that they're special. Okay. Also, one of the things, this is a lot of times that people miss the communication. Okay. So once people sign up for your event, now, whether it's, they signed up months or weeks ago, you send a save the date, making sure that you keep communicating with them. So reminding them that they have an event coming up, making sure it has a calendar invite, because a lot of times if it's on a calendar, it does not get done. So making sure that, they're able to put it on the calendar. Again, using really great event registration marketing, so that can be easily done and they can just add it to their calendar. That might be another video to really assess what your event technology is, but making sure you got that in place will help, keep your event on top of mind. Now, the know before you go email is something that's very, used often, but you still want to communicate before that, right? So being able to just remind them before they get to that know before you go. Also, along with communication, making it easy for them to cancel if needed. Okay. I always say, if they need to cancel, having a good event management tool where they can just click a button. Don't make them email you. They're not going to do it. So make it easy for them to say, I can no longer attend this event, which it helps with the stats in your data for your events, because you want the difference data between no shows, between cancellations, and between who attended. So those are all different measures of data. Now, you always want to send out a know before you go email, either a day or two before the event, reminding them about the event, but then giving them the pertinent details. A lot of times, people don't have enough information. They're just going to skip altogether. Give them the parking situation, give them the venue situation, give them the weather, give them the attire. A lot of people don't want to feel that they are standing out in a bad way. So making sure that you tell them, how people are going to be dressed to ease their mind that they fit in within the event, and just little tips that they'll need to know, right? Always having that communication and always having a person that they can communicate with if they had any questions or concerns, especially if they had any dietary issues. So making sure that stated the person of contact for the event. And so I think those are just a few things that will help with your event attendance. The more information and the more detailed, concise information, the better, right? So I hope that helped. Just a few little things that will just, take your event a little bit above the norm when it comes to people accepting that RSVP. But if you do need any assistance, please reach out. I am available for event consultations around event show rates, And then we can also talk about venues with venue consultations. So that's all for now. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section. So if you have any questions about what I covered, or if you have a great event, a reason, story of why you showed up, I'd love to hear it. I read each and every comment, and I'd love to hear about your thoughts on the topic. And if you have another topic in mind that you want to hear my insights on as well, I'm happy to talk about that. So that being said, make sure you subscribe to my channel, comment, share, like, and until next week, talk to you later.